It is June 25th, 2018, and this is Surly Grognards. This is Peter Bowman,
Yeah,
and as always, I'm joined by my good friend and co-host, Eric Carlson. Eric, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing all right.
Excellent. So, tonight we're going to talk tabletop role-playing games, mostly. We'll probably talk about other stuff, too.
We'll almost certainly talk about other stuff.
Yeah,
I mean,
probably.
this is us we're talking about.
Yeah. But we're going to start off with tabletop stuff because Eric's in a new game, which he's mentioned a little bit about
Yay!
here and there. Uh, I'm going to be starting in a new campaign probably sometime in the near future, but we'll get it onto mine in a second. We'll start with Eric's. Eric, so you're going to be playing in a new Edge of Empire Star Wars game, right?
Yes, a game system I'd wanted to try out for a while.
Excellent. How's it going so far?
So the cunning plan is that our friend Hannah, who's never run a game, is going to be running for a while. She's already done 2 sessions at this point,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'll be switching off with her. We'll be going back and forth till we both get bored.
Fair enough.
Or if someone gets sick of us and decides to take over the game. Not our cunning plan at all.
You would never do that.
No. But yeah, so we both created characters also for this so that both of them characters are relatively easy to fade in the background.
Right.
And mostly support characters. In my case, I made a droid, which sucks starting out near as I can tell, but have the potential to be godlike monsters towards once they get some experience and some cash on into them.
Okay.
So because they start with like a little bit of all the skills, not literally all the skills, but a bunch of skills. They start with way more skills than anyone else, but have terrible starting stats.
Right.
And cybernetics are a thing in Edge of the Empire. Most people can only get like a few cybernetics because it's limited by your bronze stat, which is basically your strength and toughness. Droids
Right.
just have a flat like 6 or 10. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Well, they are droids, so I mean
They are robots. So the character I made and decided was looks vaguely like a smaller Viper probe bot because the Imperial probe droid has always looked really fucking cool, and I want one.
Okay, sure.
Except smaller with like longer limbs with like tools built into them because I'm made a mechanic, totally legitimate mechanic,
I see.
not at all a guy whose whole shtick is like building outlaw tech. I'm playing an outlaw tech.
Fair enough.
With a seething hatred of organics. Mostly just so I can have an excuse to call people filthy tubes of fluid and protoplasm.
Okay. I approve. I mean, kinda.
But yeah, I'm a little annoyed by the unique dice for Age of the Empire, but it lets you do neat stuff with it.
Okay.
Like whenever you roll, you are looking for successes, and the difficulty is difficulty dice added to your roll, and failures negate successes, successes negate failures, that kind of deal.
Right.
And so you've got that. You also have advantage, which don't count as successes, but allow you to say fail forward if you have enough advantage,
Okay.
which is really cool. And not despair, I can't remember what it's called, but the opposite of advantage, which lets you succeed backward.
All right.
Which is just a neat idea. I really like that.
So you've sort of got no and yes but.
Yes. Or if you really fuck up, you have no and. Well, if you do really well, you have yes in addition to. Which is cool. And your dice pool is based on whichever is higher, your either your skill or the stat.
Mm-hmm.
And then the D8s that you start at get upgraded to D12s depending on the overlap. Like say if you have like a 3 in the stat and a 2 in the skill, your dice pool would be 1D8 and 2D12.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Yep.
Yeah. Which is cool. I like that.
Sure.
Especially because it means someone with a lot of skill but not as much natural talent can be as good as someone with a lot of natural talent but not as much skill, and
Sure.
vice versa.
Okay, I can see that.
So yes, you can have like an agility of 1 and still kick ass with a blaster.
It just means that you've trained a fuck ton.
It just means you've worked a lot harder at it than the other person.
Okay. I can see that.
And yeah, we're sort of doing the busted out of prison and stole the prison barge, which is now our base deal. So,
All right. That's a
which
good
is
way-
a relatively common way of starting a sci-fi game in any sci-fi game I've been in.
Yeah, I didn't do that with you guys. Nope, not at all.
Nope, not at all. That wasn't how the mythic Farscape game started. Nope. Nor the Fading Suns game. Nor. What's amusing? It's always a new game mess that wasn't in the previous game that does it.
It's honestly a good beginning if you're playing, scum and villainy types,
Which, given the Tuesday crew, is what we're going to be playing.
I'm shocked, Eric. I mean, I never would have guessed you guys would play, play the dregs of society.
No, never. Not the Dregs of Society playing the Dregs of Society. What's vaguely amusing is my friend Matt, who usually does the sarcastic, smartass support character, has traded places with me, so he's now playing the heavy.
Matt playing the heavy, really?
Matt's playing the heavy. I'm playing the sarcastic support character. So
Okay. I can see that.
Matt's not as good at playing the heavy. I'm not as good at playing the sarcastic support character, so we'll see how long this lasts.
So the system overall seems to be working for you, though?
I'm digging the system. I was initially annoyed by the proprietary dice because proprietary dice are dumb, just in general.
Yeah, I agree for the most part.
But yeah, I'm digging the system overall. I like the way they handle like weak opponents. They've got sort of a vaguely feng shui mook mechanic.
Okay.
Well, you have a group of mooks that take damage as a whole, and each with like a damage increment. Each damage increment means you peel a mook off the
right
off the group.
That makes sense.
Thing is, the more mooks there are, the better they are at stuff.
Yep, I can see that.
Because mooks don't get skills in anything, but they can upgrade whatever skill they're doing depending on how many guys are in the group.
Okay.
Which is just a neat idea. It gives me an idea for a villain group that will totally not be in the like space derelict they're going to have to salvage for the first adventure I'm going to run.
That would be wrong, Eric.
No, not at all. There's absolutely not going to be a networked rogue AI running the ship.
Oh, I like that.
Yes. So there'll be really scary mooks until they wipe out one group, and then the mooks won't be as scary, and so on and so forth as the AI diminishes as it loses network nodes. And I can say this on the podcast because I know none of them listen to it. It's an idea. I'll need to play around with the system more to figure out how it works. Luckily, Hannah's still got more stuff with us before I need to take over.
Right.
So yeah, it's an idea.
It's a good idea to start with, I think. I like it. I like it conceptually at a minimum.
Yeah, I also like it conceptually. Obviously, it's my idea. I'm awesome.
Oh my god.
But I also like that there's like this whole like mechanic for like modding your equipment.
Mm-hmm.
Like If you are playing this game for any length of time and anyone does not has as bog standard out of the box gun or armor or ship, then you are playing it wrong.
I see.
Like that's a big seems to be a big part of the game and part of the reason why I made an Outlaw Tech, because they're all about that kind of shit.
Right.
Which makes him a great support character to have around, despite the fact that he constantly calls you a filthy bag of mostly water.
You were not at all inspired by HK-47 on that one.
No. It is totally not a marriage of HK-47 and Invader Zim. It's exactly that.
Oh, lordy.
We'll see how irritating he is after 3 sessions before I dial it back.
I like that. Oh. Oh, Zim. So, yeah. Well, it sounds like you're having fun with that.
Yeah, it's like I said, we're only 2 sessions in, but so far it's been fun. Hannah's playing a former Imperial. Hannah's character, who she'll be playing much more than a background character when she's actually playing the game, is a former Imperial spy.
Okay.
Who was supposed to be assigned to run the prison barge, but totally got backstabbed by a Commodore. So, like, yeah, now she's on the run because she's wanted for treason. Or he. I'm not sure. I can't remember the gender of the character off the top of my head. I think it's a he.
Oh, no,
yeah, it's a he, because Chris is playing a girl, and they gender swap that all the time.
Yep. What's Chris playing, out of curiosity?
Chris is in a Star Wars game. Chris is therefore playing a smuggler.
Right, of course. What am I thinking? Okay, what weird monstrosities Leland come up with?
Not as weird as you'd think. It's some relatively obscure Star Wars alien, called it as Zix2. They're basically like skinny, four-armed short guys.
Okay, sure.
And he's basically playing the pilot and a particular breed of pilot that is relatively good also at mechanics. Initially, I thought he was trying to step on my toes, and then it turned out, no, I just didn't realize you were playing a mechanic. I've been around. We've been talking about this. You guys always do it during dinner when I'm not on Skype, or when you're after I've gone to bed. So
fair point.
Plus, having multiple characters that can do mechanic stuff is a good idea.
Honestly, it is.
Also, it's like I'm going to need someone to install some of these cybernetics. I can't do it all myself. Cybernetics, quotation marks.
Yeah, air quotes, yep. Modifications.
Yeah. Actually, another thing about droids that I really like is they actually like come out and say, like, yeah, a lot of droids just have this shit built in. So yeah, check with your game master first, but there's no reason why your toolkit couldn't be just built in. Or you could have like flashlights for eyes, or like a blaster bolted to your arm, or what have you.
Yep, that makes sense.
Like, they actually come out and say that, as opposed to like having to go through the bullshittery.
Right. Cool. So, I was supposed to be starting up a new campaign, playing it as a player.
Right.
We were going to be doing a Pathfinder game. Unfortunately, the guy who's going to be running it, my friend Peter Shaw, unfortunately does not have the time to run a campaign right now. He's just he's starting up he's joined a startup company, and that's eating all his time, which eating most of his free time. So that is totally fair and understandable.
Yeah.
What's looks like is gonna be happening with my Thursday crew is my friend Joey has suggested he's willing to try to run Feng Shui too. Which is the new version of Feng Shui, which came out a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I remember hearing about that, but like not actually buying it because, well, I had all this shit for for first Feng Shui.
Yep. And and
So
I was running for regular feng shui, so
yeah.
um, so I'm looking forward to giving it a shot. The character generation system is streamlined.
Hmm. It was already pretty streamlined for Feng Shui.
Yeah,
I mean,
there are less decisions to make now. You pick an archetype and you're basically good to go. There's minor things you have to pick, background stuff and such, and I think you get to pick like one or two skill tweaks and such. But
I'm not so big on that, honestly.
yeah, I'm not a huge fan of it, but I get why. I mean, it's one of those. They're trying to sort of. It's supposed to make it just pick your archetype and go type. It's that sort of game. Pick your
Okay.
character and go. It's and it's got sort of a more narratively focused advancement system as opposed to the XP, spend your XP as you see where on stuff you want system.
Right.
Which I've seen works fairly well in some games. It looks I haven't looked carefully at that though, so I'm not 100% positive how that's going to work. Honestly, the biggest problem most of us who are big feng shui fans on my Thursday crew are least happy about with feng shui 2 are the setting changes.
Okay.
So they've advanced the timeline for feng shui a fair bit, and some big things happened.
Timeline.
Yeah. In a setting which has a lot of time travel. Yeah, I'm aware.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you remember sort of one of the Battle Chimp's sort of major plans, right?
Yeah, he was going to destroy the Architects of the Flesh by blowing up all the Feng Shui sites.
Right, because he wanted to blow up Qi and remove the influence of Qi on the universe.
Yeah.
He kind of succeeded.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. It's interesting they let him get away with that.
Yeah, it turned out not to be the best thing.
I'm shocked.
So yeah, in the future where the Architects were, they're no longer there. The Architects are gone. Now it's a sort of Mad Maxian hellscape.
Okay. This is both awesome and terrible.
Uh-huh.
Because Mad Maxian Hellscape, fucking awesome. I love me some Mad Max. But the Architects are really cool. We've replaced the sci-fi dystopian with cybernetic demons with Mad Max Road Warrior stuff. And
Yep.
I love both these things. Why can't they both be together?
Yep, and genetically
It's
engineered.
Feng Shui. They should both be together.
Yeah, with genetically engineered Qi mutants and shit. So they're weird. It's sort of this weird dystopian setting, Mad Maxy setting with genetically engineered superhumans and such.
So Fallout?
Kinda,
Okay.
but yeah, I haven't looked too carefully into it. But yeah, Architect's gone. Jammers are split. I have actually split. They're now
Okay.
sort of two Jammer factions. One of which is one of which is led by the Battle Champion, who's looking at what he did and is like, "Oh my God, I didn't think this was going to happen. What did I do?" Um, let's see what else has happened. The Eaters Lotus are basically no longer really a thing. They're not a major faction anymore.
Okay.
They're sort of a quasi minor faction in the the ancient era, the first century era. Yeah, basically the end result of what the Battle Chimp has done is led to basically they said it basically winning.
The who basically winning?
The Ascended,
Oh, awesome.
who basically had already won anyways. So well, except in the future. Well, yeah, basically the Ascended basically are dominant through the contemporary and prior junctures, and basically everybody loses in the future.
Yeah, everybody loses in the future.
So yeah, it's sort of things went kaboom.
That's kind of a shame. The Ascended were kind of like the most boring of the bad guy threats.
I don't know. I really like the Ascended. They're actually one of my favorites.
I like the whole transformed animal conspiracy thing going on, but they're so bog standard born conspiracy. They don't even have anything for the Hollow Earth. I mean, come on, this is Feng Shui.
Well, there is no Hollow Earth in Feng Shui. There's just the Netherworld.
Yeah, but it's not. It's boring conspiracy, not completely off the wall, batshit insane conspiracy with like aliens or mind control parasites or.
Yes, but you need the Ascended. you need a villain faction like that also.
Yeah, I suppose so.
You need some bad guys that are at least semi-rational to play off of the
completely batshit insane lunacy.
In the future, Ascended who rule the world through Arcanotech and cyber demons, or the eunuch sorcerers of the past who are demon summoning eunuch sorcerers. I mean, and in the middle you just have transformed animals who turn themselves into humans through chi powers who rule the world from behind the scenes. In a very Illuminati sort of way.
Yeah, I guess they are kind of insane. They just seem boring when compared to the Architects and the Jammers and the Eaters of the Lotus. In any other setting, they'd be bonkers. So, okay, fair enough.
They're animals who turn themselves into humans through meditation on chi. Well, all right then.
So you're literally being ruled by lizard people.
Yeah. And elephant people. And monkey people. And dragons.
Yeah, okay. Fair enough. Seeing it in that context, like, once you put them in any other setting, they are bonkers insane. Why would you do this kind of bullshit?
Also, if they're exposed to too much
Except
magic,
that it's awesome.
Also, if they're exposed to too much magic, they revert back to animals, despite the fact they probably have been breeding true quote human for a while. Which is really, really bad for actual dragons.
Yeah, because there's just not enough magic. They end up dead.
Dead. Very dead. They need a lot of magic in order to survive in actual dragon form. Which means basically, the Netherworld and pockets of the Netherworld at that. And
yeah. Just. It never happened, but I've always been vaguely amused by the idea of, like, the big scary baddie that's, like, kicking all your asses, and then someone drops, like, an anti-magic field on him, and he turns into a chicken. Fuck!
Well, honestly, it's not an anti-magic thing. You need to generate extra magic.
That's right. You need extra magic. So, like, set off a mana bomb next to him, and suddenly you're... The murderous super assassin that's been terminating his way like across our campaign is a chicken.
That's actually really good. Yeah, a rooster. Transform rooster is an archetype.
Yep.
Although I do think the image of it being a transformed shark is almost more hilarious.
Flop, flop, flop.
Yes.
Transformed sunfish.
I wouldn't be worried by a transformed sunfish just in general. Actually, the transformed cockroach would also be hilarious.
Yes. Where'd he go? I think he's that bug.
I have images of that scene from Slayers where Lena points at the cockroach on the ground and screeches in horror as a distraction. The poor little cockroach eyes bug out. It's like, no.
Remember, I'm reminded of Eric by Terry Pratchett with the Quetzalcoatl or equivalent showing up because the demon lord's like, dude, you got to fix this. This is screwed up. You need to go take care of this. Okay, fine. And you can't do it through dreams or anything. You need to actually physically manifest. Are you kidding? No, you need to physically, but just do it. And it turns out he's like at 6 inches tall. Have you read Eric before?
I have.
Okay.
It's been a while, but I have read it. I've read almost everything Pratchett wrote.
Okay. So yeah, he the Aztec equivalent that ends up messing with our heroes, quotation marks. Very much quotation marks. Mm-hmm. One wants to rule the world, and the other is an utter coward and a wizard that doesn't understand what's going on. And like Their demon patron, like, manifesting 6 inches tall, squeaks out some commandments before being instantly crushed by sapient luggage.
Yep. Discworld is weird, man.
Discworld is awesome.
Oh, it is. Abso-friggin-lutely.
I fucking love me some Discworld.
But yeah, I have not yet decided on what archetype I'm going to play in the Feng Shui 2 game. Right now, it looks like the other 3 players are going to be playing a gambler, a thief, and oh god, what's the name of that stupid archetype again? Hang on.
You were telling me about it before we started this recording.
Yeah, I was, and I got to look the name up again.
Job or something?
Something or other nut job. Yeah, hang on. I've got the doc. I got the file that has all the archetypes in it. So hang on. Full Metal Nutball.
That's it.
Yeah,
which is just a great name for an archetype.
it is. They call you a gun nut. Accent on the gun. Well, also come to think of it, accent on the nut. Okay, sure, they apply equally. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure what I'm going to play, but...
Cool.
But yeah,
Yeah,
Metal
and,
Nutball is hilarious.
Yes. I think I don't know how I feel about those changes to Feng Shui too. Like, I really like the architects. They were great villains.
They are.
But now you have Mad Max Dystopia and Battleship trying to fix everything. Which I'm not sure I like, but I can't not like. It's very frustrating.
I love the image of Battleship getting exactly what he wants and realizing that what he wanted was a terrible idea.
Yes.
Because he is actually a super genius.
Yes.
Just him going, wait, what? Oh. So when they were saying that blowing up Chi was a terrible idea, they weren't wrong. Oh my god, I'm an idiot.
I thought I did not take this into account. I was not as smart as I thought I was.
So part of what I was trying to do worked, but it had really, really bad unforeseen consequences. Oops. So yeah.
And so in other news, I also picked the Steam Summer Sale happened.
Yep.
And is happening now for those of you who still have money in your bank accounts. And I picked up Total War Warhammer 2, which has Skaven in it. So of course I am playing Skaven.
Of course you are.
Because who doesn't love horrible mad scientist Ratman? And yeah, I haven't played a lot of it yet, just because I haven't had the time. But Skaven has some interesting mechanics, like they have an additional resource called food. Gotta have food. They cause corruption, which I remember from the previous one. Tends to make your areas corruption for like vampires or chaos makes your settlements and the area around your settlements more hospitable towards you, but worse for everyone else. Skaven corruption just makes it bad. Like they get bonuses to like recruitment and stuff, but they don't get bonuses to loyalty or public order. That goes in the toilet just like everyone else.
I see.
And you have food, which is another resource which is needed to keep your armies running. Sort of another upkeep resource, which is not which is a common thing throughout like the total Warhammer armies. The difference is Skaven can just outright spend food during a battle to summon extra clan rats wherever they want.
Interesting.
Which is good because, my God, clan rats are terrible. I mean, they're better than slaves, but slaves continue to be the awesome expendable bullshit they always have been. throw the slaves out there to absorb the missile fire and get charged. Then you hit things in the flank. It's just that the shit you're hitting in the flank with just isn't also isn't terribly great. So Rat Ogres and Rat Ogres and Warpfire Throwers, however, are hell on wheels.
Cool.
They just eat shit alive. I love them to death.
Excellent.
And I haven't played with any of the more esoteric weirdness like Poison Wing Globadiers or the Hellpit Abomination or Gutter Runners, simply because I haven't unlocked that tech yet. I started with a unit of Rat Ogres and a unit of Fire Throwers, and I am carefully husbanding them and keeping them like safe until I can recruit more. Also, I'm fighting high elves, so there's nothing better than watching elves die. Like, literally, there is just nothing better than watching high elves die.
You're not very fond of elves, are you, Eric?
No, in particular high elves. Just the ponziest, most bullshit elves that were ever ponzi bullshit elves. Knotting about in their clean white robes and their pointy silver helmets, going, "Oh, we're so much better than you. Look at us. Mew, 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 mew." Eat shit and die. Literally, I'm playing Skaven. You're going to eat shit and then die. So yeah, I've been digging that for all of the 2 days I've had it. Today being one of those days.
Cool, cool.
So yeah, there's that. And I recently finished watching the Spectacular Spider-Man.
Oh, cool! I've not seen
which was
yet.
There was one of the series cartoon series that got a whole season before it got shit canned by the Marvel takeover. Or the Disney takeover of Marvel.
Right.
So which it's actually pretty good.
Neat.
Like, it doesn't have the like let's just throw everything in the same blender and let's go that Earth's Mightiest Heroes had, but it does some interesting things with the characters. Like
right.
Mary Jane doesn't get introduced till like halfway through, and is not really a love interest. She's just sort of there being cool.
Okay.
Eddie Brock is not a rival reporter. Eddie Brock is Peter's childhood friend who has already graduated high school and is now working as a lab tech for Dr. Connors, the guy who turns into the lizard.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I can see that.
Dr. Octopus shows up early on, but he's not octopusified. He doesn't have the cyber tentacles until about like a third, maybe halfway through. In which case he becomes fucking awesome because he's Dr. Octopus. And it's got a lot. The stylistically, it's very simple. Sort of similar to, say, Earth's Mightiest Heroes or Batman the Animated Series, what have you, which allows for smoother animation when they want it, and they want it a lot because it's fucking Spider-Man. So yeah, I've digged it.
Excellent. Yeah, I should check that out at some point.
Yeah, I recommend it.
I've not been watching much of anything new. I've been rewatching Babylon 5 on Amazon Prime. It's on Amazon Prime now. Ooh.
Hooray! A legal way to watch Babylon 5.
Yes. I've been enjoying it a lot, unsurprisingly. It's Babylon 5. I mean,
yeah.
Things I'm about halfway through season 2 now. Things I've noticed that I've always been aware of, but it's sort of been brought home to roost again, as it were. The big one being, oh boy, there's a wide spectrum of acting quality on that show.
Yes, I remember. I remember.
Most of the main cast is actually pretty solid. There's varying, and some of the actors, get better as they go along, as they have time to get used to their roles. I mean, Not all of them are Andreas Katsoulis, Peter Jurassic, or Mira Furlan, all of whom are just like locked in and great at their characters from day one.
Yeah.
Londo Jakar and Delenn.
Yeah, they kind of knock it out of the park at every opportunity because they are awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel bad anyone that has to act opposite of them in the first season because you're just you're
there's
poor
this
fucker.
one the episode where Sinclair's love interest. God, I can't remember her name all of a sudden.
I don't remember him having a love interest.
He does. Asian woman. She's a scout explorer type. She goes out and finds planets.
Oh, I vaguely remember her. Yeah, okay.
Her character is not bad, and I'm not sure if she's a bad actress or is just not ready to do television. Like, I get the impression she might be might have been a stage actress primarily, which is definitely the case with Michael O'Hara played Sinclair. But the episode where she goes out to Sigma 957 and runs across the Ancient and has her ship powered down and has to be saved by some of Jakar's people. When she gets back to the station and she has a scene talking with Jakar, it is astonishing watching the sort of the difference in performance between what she's doing and what Katsoulis is doing as Jakar. She ups her game in that scene from what she normally does. But oh my god, Katsoulis just eats her goddamn lunch as an actor in that scene. It's amazing.
I remember that scene, and he's not even trying that hard. I distinctly remember thinking he's dialing it back. He's dialing it back, and he's still destroying her by accident.
Well, the thing is, that scene is Jakar being nuanced is the thing. That's why he's got to dial back, which makes sense.
Yep.
But wow, and she's not even she's not one. She's she's probably the least good of the recurring actors in season 1. But wow, some of the guest actors are not good. There's this one poor girl. Oh, I feel so bad for. There's this kid. There's this character who's in one episode who is this teenager who's a telepath who has their telepathic abilities, actually just manifests, as she's hit puberty and such. And the whole episode sort of trying to decide what should be done with her. Turn her over to Psy-Core or what have you. She ends up going with she ends up basically getting sort of going to the Minbari homeworld to sort of be trained by Minbari telepaths and such, and not joining Psy-Core because fuck Psy-Core. But oh god,
they did do a great job of making Psy-Core just absolutely vile, but at the same time kind of necessary.
And individual members of Psy-Core being incredibly likable.
Yep.
But this poor girl, she is not a good actor. No. She's bad. I mean, it's really clear she's trying, but she's not good. But yeah, it's it's interesting getting to season 2 and seeing Jerry Doyle and Claudia Christian settle more into their roles as Garibaldi and Ivanova.
Remember, Ivanova is one who evolved quite a bit as an actress.
She did. Claudia Christian got a lot better as she went along. She started out okay and got much better. Jerry Doyle didn't. Jerry Doyle just got more comfortable with being Garibaldi, and I think largely from what I understand, he basically was just playing himself.
I could see it.
But yeah, it's the other thing is that wow, when that and there are a few bad episodes in season 1 because of course there are.
Right.
Season 1's very uneven, but wow, when it hits its stride, it knocks it out of the fucking park. Jesus Christ, some of the stuff in season 1 is so good.
Nice. Yeah, I love me some Babylon 5, and I'm glad it's up for streaming. It's fighting for space with so many other fucking things.
Oh god, yes, absolutely. There's so much stuff out there that need to get back to watching or watch. Like, I need to finish watching part 4 of JoJo's at some point, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure at some point.
I need to
Because
start part 3.
Yeah, because part 5 is coming out in the fall.
Yeah. I need to start part 3. I need to get back into Handmaid's Tale and Westworld. I've got friggin' Megalobox and Yakuza and Psychic Girl anime that are on my list that I gotta watch. Plus the new Legend of Galactic Heroes.
Yep. Yep. I gotta finish off Legend of Galactic Heroes. It's Disney throw it or whatever. I can't remember the subtitle for it. The subname for it. It's
something not English.
It's something in German. And it's I've really liked the Legend of Galactic Heroes reboot. It's been really good so far. It's not as nuanced as the original. It's going through its paces a little bit more quickly, which is both good and bad.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say this. One of the things that kept me from watching the original is that it's like 150 episodes.
Yeah, it's long.
I have a job and stuff to do, and
and there's other TV you want to watch.
Yeah, it is not a commitment I am willing to make.
Yeah, I've actually watched the original Legend of Galactic Heroes, so yeah. And there's definitely some nuance lost, honestly, in the new one. But for the most part, it's doing a really good job, and it looks damn pretty.
Yeah, like, it's on my list. I need to watch that at some point.
Oh, God. Yeah, I've got other things I need to get back to at some point.
Damn TV being too awesome. Back in the day where it was like one or two things that were worth like making time to watch. Now it's like every fucking thing. What a terrible problem to have.
Oh my God. Let's see what else has been going on. Oh right, yeah, Victor's Life dropped in Star Trek Online.
Yes. Which turned out to be pretty awesome little story going on.
Yep.
With more stuff on the way because duh.
Yep.
I'm not sure I like the Jem'Hadar.
Well, Eric, I'm not surprised, Eric. You have your Klingons.
That's true. I've got Klingons and Gorn right there. I will say the Klingon faction uniform for the Jem'Hadar is pretty slick.
Cool.
It's got like it strangely enough looks like a nice hybridization of the Jem'Hadar and Klingon uniforms.
Well, there you go. Yeah, I'm sort of like the Jem'Hadar just strike as they always have for me. They've always struck me as the least interesting thing about the Dominion.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. They are kind of. I always thought they were kind of cool, but not as cool as other things in the Dominion, like the founders and their weird, terrified paranoia combined with their absolute arrogance and superiority.
Yeah.
Wei Yun, who was played by Jeffrey Combs, which just means he's awesome.
Well, yeah, the Vorta are just great. Are actually legitimately interesting.
Yes, and the whole relationship they end up with the Cardassians, that was really like Gul Dukat's like backstabbing weirdness that kept the Dominion from just completely dominating the Cardassians. Once he's out of the picture, they just like no, you guys are a bitch now. Yeah, Dukat knew how to play the game. You guys don't.
But yeah, it's really cool to have all the so many of the DS9 crew back. In the game, it's neat.
I even have a holographic Wei Yun to kick around. I gave it to my Jem'Hadar because obviously my Jem'Hadar is going to want to kick you around.
Yeah, I have one also, and my Jem'Hadar has him also. Uh, Speaking of Jeffrey Combs, he's actually in an episode of Babylon 5.
Of course he is. He's in an episode of everything.
Yeah. He plays...
Name something vaguely interesting, he is in it. He's like friggin' Clancy
Warner.
Brown.
And David Warner.
Yeah.
David Warner, who's also in Babylon 5. But yeah, Combs plays a Psychor telepath attached to the military. And is immensely sympathetic.
That sounds like a perfect Jeffrey Combs role, honestly.
Yeah, he's there to help. He's there assigned to this Earth Force, basically internal investigations dude, who showed up at Babylon 5 to investigate things going on with the command staff on Babylon 5, because he's totally not there with a personal vendetta against Sinclair. No, not at all.
Not in any way, shape, or form. That's ridiculous.
And Combs' character is Harriman Gray's Combs' character's name. Yeah, so Gray's there to, basically be there to, help out with any interrogations that need to be done the way Psychor does. And of course, B5's command staff are not happy about this in any way, shape, or form, especially Ivanova. Yeah, it's a decent episode, but Combs is great and is entirely sympathetic. And turns out he's actually a decent guy.
Awesome.
Because I went into going sort of half expecting him not to be, because it's Jeffrey Combs and he's so good at playing bad guys. But instead he's playing a somewhat off-kilter,
sympathetic weirdo heroes also.
Yes, and I forget that sometimes.
Like, watch Reanimator. He's great in that. Well, it's hard to call him a hero in Reanimator. He's not the obvious villain, let's put it that way.
Oh, God, I love Combs. He's great. But yeah, God, what else have I been up to? I've not been doing as much tabletop gaming as I want to. I played a few board games here and there, which I've enjoyed.
Yeah, I'm scaling back my my playing of 40K because I'm frustrated with the lack of codex, and every fight's an uphill battle that I have to fight to not lose as opposed to win.
Right.
And it's getting tiring and frustrating. And theoretically, I've got the Orc Codex somewhere just over the horizon, the way it's been for the past year and a half.
You'll get it someday. Someday.
It is announced for the next batch of codices, but or codexes, or whatever the codi, whatever the plural of codex is.
I don't remember what the plural of codex is.
But they're doing Age of Shipmar, the new edition of Age of Shipmar right now. So who knows when that's actually going to happen?
Right.
A game system that I might enjoy if it weren't for the fact it carries the sin of having killed fantasy.
Yeah.
So,
I'm in the same boat.
That and fucking Sigmarines.
I'm in the same boat on that one, Eric. So I'm not convinced I'd like
it. Sorry, guys. You carry the sin. You carry Warhammer Fantasy's blood on your hands. You will forever. I cannot forgive you. I don't care how cool your new models are, and they are pretty cool. But
I love the Atlantean elf things riding flying sharks,
which is such a cool concept. Or the new ghost stuff they've got coming out. But sorry, guys, it does not matter how cool you are. You killed fantasy.
Yeah. I'm sad about that. Even if I hadn't played Fantasy Battle in a long time.
Here's the thing. I had started to get back into it, playing with a small circle of friends and looking to find a larger club to play in. When they started doing the whole end times thing, it was like, oh, cool, big, event for fantasy. Awesome. End times, whatever. They've ended the fantasy like a dozen times at this point, and always reset it. Whatever. I did not expect it to actually stick.
Yep. Nope, they blew up the world.
They blew up the world, and it's not like they hadn't before.
This is true. But boy, oh boy, did they blow up the world this time.
Yeah.
Skaboom.
So yeah, the old world got blown up. The lizard men literally fly away in spaceships.
Which I simultaneously am upset about because I like the lizardmen, but it's so freaking hilariously awesome that, you know...
Yes. The Skaven blew up the moon with a super rocket because fuck you. Because their initial plan was to cause the moon to crash into Earth because it's literally made of warpstone. Where as far as the Skaven are concerned, it's made of cheese. Make it crash into Earth and we have all the cheese. But the Lizardmen made that stop, so they blew it up with a rocket, so it would rain cheese forever. Forever being a week, because then the world ended.
Skaven are simultaneously the best and worst things ever.
I adore the Skaven. I love them even more
do.
than orcs. They are my first best love for a fantasy monster race.
I don't blame you. I think the Skaven are hilarious.
How much do I love orcs? That tells you a lot about how much I love Skaven.
Oh yeah, no. Oh, when I say they're the best worst things ever, I don't mean that they're actually in terms of storytelling or anything. No, I mean they're horrible, awful, evil, mean things, and they're the best at being that.
Yes. They are simultaneously the most scary villain you could face and Saturday morning cartoon villains.
Oh God. They're so
Cobra
gloriously mustache twirling. Some of them are so gloriously mustache twirling.
Yes. Great Sir Thankful, the original incompetent supervillain.
Oh my God. But yeah, sadly, they blew up. They blew up a fantasy world. I'm sort of two minds about the Warhammer fantasy world just as a setting. I think it's a good setting for a war game. I think it's a great setting for a war game, actually. But I'm really not interested in beyond that.
I thought it was a great setting for role playing, also. Just because there's so many directions you can go in it.
Yeah, I can see that. I don't know. It's just never spoken to me.
More traditional, dungeon crawling, fighting orcs and goblins and whatnot, or you can go total dark fantasy horror. Oh my God, what the hell is going on? Call of Cthulhu stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. I always found that the blending those things into the same setting didn't feel like it ever worked for me for a fantasy game. For a role playing game, I mean, it just.
I guess, but
no, I can see. I get why people like it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm saying it's not my cup of tea.
Sure, I'm just thinking you have elements of that in pretty much all of them. Honestly, it's just that so much more to the forefront in Warhammer Fantasy.
Yeah, I don't know. I think honestly, for me, it's a case of I have issues with the forces of chaos as fantasy villains. And I'm not sure why. I totally dig them for a tabletop war game, as I said. I think.
Oh, they're great in a tabletop war game.
But
especially in fantasy, where it's just all the craziness comes out. Mm-hmm. Used to have all the craziness in 40K, but then decided, you know what? Let's just do Space Marines and demons.
But I don't know. There's just something about Warhammer Fantasy that none of the Warhammer worlds speak to me as anything beyond war games. As I've said, they don't work for me.
Sure, I get that. My biggest problem is I've never really enjoyed the system for Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay.
Oh,
it's not a good system.
I would agree with you on that one too.
Which is a shame because it's such a great setting and does so much stuff that I would want to do in a fantasy setting. Yes, I want to investigate this cult, this spooky gang that turns out to be a cult, that turns out to be summoning demons. Oh my god, what the hell is going on? Yes, I want to go save this village from orcs. And not like crappy Tolkien orcs, real proper orcs. Yes, I'm aware of the irony of that statement.
I was going to say. Also, you're dissing Tolkien orcs, and I have words about that.
Don't get me wrong. I love me some Tolkien orcs, especially the fighting Uruk-hai. But dude, have you seen greenskins? Greenskins are dead sexy, after a fashion.
All I know is I've played Middle-earth role-playing, and don't fuck with orcs. Jesus.
Yeah, fair enough.
Especially don't fuck with Uruk-hai, especially if you're a low-level character. Oh my god.
Yeah, Uruk-hai are Uruk-hai are no pushovers.
No.
In burps, like not at all. But they're totally pushovers compared to black orcs.
They're probably on par with Black Orcs versus starting Warhammer Fantasy roleplay characters versus Uruk-hai versus starting Merp characters. They're probably roughly on par, I think.
Yeah, I think you're probably right.
Which is sort of the point.
Yeah. Gee, I wonder if one was inspired by the other.
No, that would never be the case. GW would never borrow from Tolkien.
No,
Thankfully.
never. If you're going to steal for the best.
Oh my god.
But yeah, like, I miss Beastmen. Beastmen were awesome. And yeah, technically they exist in Age of Sigmar, but who the fuck cares? Just like Skaven exists in Age of Sigmar, but who the fuck cares?
People who like Age of Sigmar?
Sure, if you're a heretic. We're talking Games Workshop, I'm allowed to use that term.
Oh my god.
So yeah, I've been really digging what little of Warhammer 2 I've been able to play.
Cool.
And not just because it's entirely because I get to be Skaven. It's a good game also, but dude, I get to be fucking Skaven.
I'm glad you're digging that.
Just having quick head taker go, yes, kill. Much warpstone. Everybody Skaven units inevitably breaking combat is like, flee, run!
Oh, the Skaven. They are gloriously silly.
They are so great.
Oh, God. Let's see, anything else of note going on? I don't think so, really.
Yeah, it's been a bit quiet for me. Like, big news is, well, I told you guys my big news.
Yeah. Yeah, at some point I'll be getting back to doing more tabletop gaming. As I said, the Feng Shui 2 game will probably be starting somewhat soon. I don't know when.
Soon.
TM.
Trademark and copyright.
Yeah. And if and when I get over this just pernicious case of writer's block I've been having, I will do something with the Star Trek game.
Well, to be fair, it was your last case of writer's block lasted about this long.
Yeah. Oh, it happens. But yeah, I burned
If you
out.
hold out till the end of July, the Beta Quadrant supplement's supposed to come out, which I'll have more stuff on Klingons. Hint, hint. Klingons. The best Star Trek race.
Yeah, I want to pick that up at some point. Yeah,
It's funny playing my Jem'Hadar in Victory of Life and commenting to you, I'm just not digging my Jem'Hadar. I mean, he's just not as good as my Klingon. I mean, obviously, but you're like, of course, obviously, Eric, in every conceivable way, he's not as good as your Klingon.
I mean, there's just so many different ways he's not. The problem the Jem'Hadar have in Star Trek is honestly, they're a dedicated warrior race in a setting that already has a dedicated warrior race that is more interesting than they are.
Yes, that's kind of the point behind them.
Oh,
honestly.
it is. It totally is.
It's kind of why the Klingons hate them so much.
Yep.
Like the whole bit about the Jem'Hadar not having honor is because Jem'Hadar just fight because they're told to. They're engineered to fight. Like there's no greater meaning behind it for them. And that's offensive to a Klingon.
It's a holy calling.
Yeah.
They fight because their gods command them to. Which, how unbelievably awful is that to a Klingon? I mean...
Yeah. Your gods command you? No one commands a Klingon except for another Klingon, but that's beside the point.
We killed our gods. Like that's seriously a dividing point between the Klingons and Jem'Hadar that I have trouble envisioning either side getting past.
Yeah, we killed our gods.
Right there, that sums it up. Fuck you.
You would strike down a god? I am Klingon. We killed our gods. They became too irksome. You are irksome.
I just love that conceptually.
Yes. And someone in the comments mentioned that the Jem'Hadar are a race of paladins. No, they're not even paladins. They're beady automatons. They're flesh golems for fighting.
I will say, Victory's Life is trying to give them more personality.
Yes, it's working hard to do so. Unfortunately, it works even better if you're just being a Klingon. And it's not like the Klingons don't. Your Klingon character doesn't have a good reason to be involved in this situation, because the ancient enslavers of the Klingon race are there. Of course, you're gonna fight the Herc. Why wouldn't you fight the Herc?
Well,
the Klingon Empire actually doesn't fight the Herc, and it's not explained in the story arc, but it's explained in some of the side fiction they write. That basically the Klingon Empire's totally got stuck with a butcher's bill for the last 3 wars.
Yeah.
They just don't have the bodies. They can't let anyone know because, well, they're Klingons.
Yeah, the Iconian War did a real number on them.
Yeah.
I mean, it hurt the Federation too. But the Federation's actually bigger than the Klingon Empire.
Yeah, and they've got more resources and can recover quicker from that sort of shit. They always have.
Yep.
It's always been the sticking point with the Klingons. That's why they're so aggressive. They have to hit you hard and fast because they can't do a war of attrition.
Oh, that reminds. There's a way back when the company that makes Starfleet Battles, the Star Trek Starship Combat tabletop game, also made a strategic war game called Federation and Empire. Which is a very slow, grindy thing to basically... It's sort of a classic sort of, old-school Grognardy simulationist war game, simulating what's called the General War. It's a war between the Federation, the Klingons, the Gorn, the Romulans, and, it's basically World War I in the Star Trek setting.
Okay.
It goes about as well as World War I does. Let's be real.
That sounds... awesome.
Yeah, and it starts with it starts with 2 minor powers start shooting each other who are allied to one's allied to the Federation, one's allied to the Klingons.
Right.
So, but yeah, basically the Klingons basically sucker punch the Federation fairly early on because they're like, we cannot, we have a huge mothball fleet of old ships that we have that we can fall back on, but If the Federation ever can like get their wartime economy into gear and keep it there, we are toast.
Yes.
And that's how the game goes. If the Federation has long enough to ramp their wartime economy up so they can actually start going to full production, the Klingons and nobody else can keep up with them.
Right.
Because that's what the Federation does.
Yes. And the Klingons have always been aggressive and expansionistic because there ain't shit in their part of the quadrant. Like, replicator technology was a giant boon to the Klingons. They still don't have enough dilithium to keep shit running.
So, yeah. It's actually really kind of... I love the game Federation Empire conceptually, but oh my god. Like, yeah, I mean, I still like Starfleet battles, but yeah, Federation Empire is long and grindy and takes forever to play through.
That sounds.
And they have
torturous.
it's a long, detailed simulationist war game. So it's
you know how I feel about those.
right. That's not your cup of tea, and it's beyond my cup of tea. My favorite thing about it, though, they have the audacity in the Federation Empire rules to have as an optional thing to suggest that if you really want, you can play out the space battles that you have when your fleets encounter in Starfleet battles.
Oof.
They have the audacity to suggest this.
Oof.
My friends and I have come to the conclusion this is, if you want the General War in Federation Empire to take as long as the General War actually does...
It does, yes. Oof. Yeah. Because Starfleet Battles is not a short game.
No, it's not. Like, tournament Starfleet battles with is a one-on-one, is one ship versus one ship, and I believe they allocate like 2 hours per game.
Jesus, yeah.
SFB is not a fast game. It's a good game if you like that style of game.
The longest, most Grognardy, most fiddly war game that I can stand to play for any length of time is Warhammer Fantasy Battle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I could see that.
Like, because once you start like getting in like tracking other stuff and like ammunition tracks and like allocating power to like each ship in your line and all that other stuff, it goes from being a fun resource management game to tedious and mind-numbing.
I totally rock that. It's not your cup of tea, dude. I totally get it.
It's the exact same reason why I love BattleTech. For like, I have my mech. It's just my mech, and this is how we're going to do mech-on-mech fights in our tabletop RPG. That's great for that. When you make me like keep track of an entire lance, that cool, fun resource management for one mech becomes tedious and mind-numbing for everything, for the entire lance.
I totally rock, Eric.
It's
It's entirely my cup of tea.
Yeah, it's totally your bag, and I get that.
I mean, I'll be honest, BattleTech is literally what I cut my teeth on in tabletop gaming. Wargaming.
Where I did Fantasy Battle, yeah.
Right.
And it's colored us ever since.
No, absolutely. I started with BattleTech, and then quickly thereafter got into Starfleet Battles. Starfleet Battles is literally the second tabletop war game I played.
Yeah, I went from Warhammer Fantasy to BattleTech to Warhammer 40K.
Yep.
So, and then War Machine and any number of small skirmish games. And
yeah, I will admit I've eventually found, like, I like Starfleet Battles there's a limit beyond which I can't handle Starfleet Battles. Like, once you get beyond like 3 ships on 3 ships, I'm like, yeah, I'm done. Nope.
Right.
Nope. And even 3 ships on 3 ships is a little bit more than I like. So like the Starship combat game I played that I really liked for actually doing, like, actual squadrons or small fleets of ships was Babylon 5 Wars, which is less fiddly than Starfleet battles. It's roughly on par with BattleTech, honestly.
Yeah, Starfleet. Babylon 5 Wars wasn't so bad. Um, I kind of dug it. It's just I'm not a big fan of counters in general, and that's a game that really requires counters.
It does.
Like
I
having your
totally
cool painted like mini is great until your cool painted mini needs to be on top of another cool painted mini.
Yeah, the fact that you can share hexes is sort of a little bit of an issue.
Yeah. I will say it's a much better game than Battlefleet Gothic.
I want to like Battlefleet Gothic so much.
I really wanted to like Battlefleet Gothic also, but it was like, are you playing the Imperium or Chaos? Well, you can laugh at the sense of balance then. You are either completely busted and roll over your opponent, or you are a limping, laughable wreck.
Oh, the poor orcs.
Poor orcs. This stuff wasn't even that much cheaper. And it was just terrible across the board.
Oh, you could play the you could quote play end quote the Tyranids.
Yes. Yeah, it was you set up your models and then they do stuff.
Yeah.
Like you roll dice to see how good they are at doing that thing, but you don't get to determine what that thing is.
Ugh.
And filthy cheating Eldar Necrons. Just filthy cheating Eldar Necrons.
I will say the Necrons made me laugh when I realized exactly how good they were at making the Eldar cry.
Yes. Well, they needed something to make the Eldar cry.
Oh well. Well,
yeah. Chris and I still remember that one fight we had differently.
I remember that game.
Yeah, my friend Chris has been playing. We were playing in a Battlefleet Gothic campaign. Yeah, I was playing the sad, lamentable orcs, and he was playing the completely bonkers Eldar. And Chris had been just rolling over everybody with the move, shoot, move bullshit that the Eldar had.
Yep.
At the end of the game where he was fighting me, where I had every advantage, at least from setup and in theory, my entire fleet is on fire and retreating towards the board edge to try to salvage something. Literally, it was like crippled and on fire. That was the state of every ship I had. Except for the one escort, the brute ram ship, which has a pop gun and rams things. That's all it does. Was trying to run interference from my kill cruiser, and just takes a pot shot at his flagship carrier death machine. And through a series of ridiculous rolls, manages to blow it the fuck up. Not on fire, not a wreck, not a Hulk, confettied.
Yeah, well, it turns out if you can actually hit Eldar ships,
which requires so many sixes in a row, it's not even funny. And Chris is like, yeah, you totally won that. What are you talking about, Chris? The rest of I didn't touch the rest of your fleet. Mine is on fire and retreating and will not be available for my next game. My entire fleet is not available for the next game. So yeah, that was that. We both argue. We to this day argue who won that game.
Yeah. Yeah, Gothic's not a good game, unfortunately.
No, it was a terrible game. Well, it was fun if you're playing Eldar, or if it was fun if you're playing Eldar or the Imperium, not
Chaos
Eldar,
or the Imperium.
Chaos or the Imperium.
Yeah, pretty much. It was reasonably
two that
balanced.
were balanced against each other and were largely copies of each other, despite some aesthetic and differences in armor.
The armor layout was different.
They're both roughly as tough. It's just that Imperial ships were tougher on the front, and Chaos ships had better armor all around.
Yeah, which affects how you maneuver them, but
yep.
Yeah.
No, it was actually a clever way to put a distinct difference between them that was balanced and interesting.
Yep. No, it was actually they did a decent job at balancing those two fleets against each other. And there were a few issues with the rules as a whole.
Sure.
The hit and run table still being my absolute favorite. Simply because of the way they did the hit and run table, it completely brought the probabilities of critical hits.
Yes.
Meaning your port, I forget, it's either your port or your starboard weapons batteries were more likely to be critically hit than the other ones, no matter where you're being shot from.
Yep.
It's just like, oh my god, you idiots.
I will say it was really funny when the Tyranid player, who was disappointed in the fact he didn't actually get to play the game, was upset that my orcs are actually better at boarding than his Tyranids. He comes over and says, okay, and I board your kill cruiser. You sure you want to do that? Yes, it's one of the few decisions I get to make in this game. Okay, we roll dice. I beat you. How did you beat me in close combat? Every one of my guys is a freaking orc. Most of your guys are termagants.
Oops. Anyways, we should probably wrap the show up here.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody, for listening. It's good to be back. We've been away for a little while. Thank you all for listening. We try to save time at the end of each episode for viewer questions. We actually do have a couple this week, but we run a bit long, and I think we'll get to the next time.
Yeah, we'll do them next time. We'll make sure we leave time for next time.
Yes. Thank you all for listening, though. But we do try to save time for viewer questions. And if you do have questions for us, please send them to us. We like answering you guys' questions. Our email address is surlygrognards@yahoo.com, surlygrognards@yahoo.com, or you can post them in the comment section on YouTube. Because the recordings just go up onto YouTube, so yeah. So we love getting questions from you guys. We love answering your questions, so please do send them to us. If you've got show topic suggestions, we freaking adore those. Please send those to us.
Great. Those are awesome. Those are the bestest.
That way we can spend an episode talking about what you guys want to hear about.
And also, not at all because we're lazy and suck at coming up with concepts.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's not like it's not like we've done 196 episodes of this show at this point.
This is also true.
Jesus, we're coming up on our 200th episode, Eric.
Yeah.
You know what we're going to have to do?
Absolutely nothing special.
Exactly. Be a complete letdown.
Yeah, that's about on par for us.
Yes. It's our idiom. If you've got feedback for us, also constructive criticism, all that sort of stuff, we love getting that. Also, please send it to us. Same email address, or post them in the comment section on YouTube. We love getting that stuff. Please do send it to us.
Yes, absolutely.
We record the show most Monday nights starting at roughly 7 p.m. Eastern here on twitch.tv/mechagm. Recordings of the show to go up usually the next day onto YouTube. Yeah, that's going to be it for tonight. If you want to see when the show's going to be going live, usually tweet that out on my Twitter. My Twitter handle is @mechagm. I think next week, if we actually do manage to get through the rest of it, the series we're watching, we'll be doing 3 Men in Anime next week, I think.
Yeah, assuming nothing catches on fire or sinks in the swamp.
Right. So there's good odds there'll be a new episode of
further pacing issues.
So yeah, we'll be covering the show we're currently watching on next week, most likely.
Yes.
But that's going to do it for tonight, guys. Thank you so much for listening, joining us, and all that stuff. We'll see you guys next time, everybody. Take care, everybody.
Bye, humans.